Marhaban everyone, and welcome to this video by 360arabic.com. We will continue looking at how letters connect in Arabic. You can watch this video independently, but you can also download our free ebook, The Letters and Sounds of Arabic, by going to 360arabic.com or clicking on the link in the description below. In the previous two videos, we saw how Arabic language letters in category 1 and 2 connect to their environment. We have seen that these letters can connect from the right or from the left, and that while connecting these letters, you stick to the line and that you finish in style. We also looked at category 2, which only differs from category 1 in one aspect, and it's that the shape of the letters slightly change. Category 3 is different. Now, of course, you are familiar with connecting letters the same way you are taught to connect these letters in writing cursive English. This is a concept you are familiar with. Category 3 is made up of 6 letters only. And these letters have one specific feature that the other letters from set 1 and 2 do not have. So, when it comes to these letters, I know not what it is they hide. I don't touch their left side. When I approach from the right, I don't bother. When on the left, I start over. What does this mean? This means that these letters, unlike the sets we have seen so far, connect from the right, but they do not connect from the left. Let's look at this closely. Now, Ra, Z, and Wa are written, again, in the way you have been introduced to them. You stick to the first length, and then you go down by a length and a half, a length to a length and a half. So this is Ra, this is Zay, and this is Waw. Okay? Now, these letters can connect. Okay? Two letters before them, so they can connect from the right. But they do not connect to the left. This is what makes them different. This is what distinguishes them. For example, let's look at this word, ramal. So, ra. Then I go to the next one, which is mim and lam. We do not connect ra to what comes after it. Same thing for zay. When we write mar, notice how we can connect to the letters on the right, but we stop connecting right here. The reason behind this may be that connecting these letters would completely obliterate their critical portion. Remember that we have to make sure that a letter keeps an identity and that no two letters should look very close to one another. And so if we end up connecting the ra to the next letter, perhaps we will start confusing the ra with the lam. And that's why we're not allowed to connect any of these letters to whatever is coming next. Now, in words that are solely composed of these letters, you start seeing something interesting. Let's look at this example. Zarzur, which is a bird. Za, we can't connect, so ra, we can't connect, so another za, we can't connect waw, we can't connect ra, zarzur. And so this happens rarely in Arabic, where you see a set of letters completely disconnected from one another. So please start by learning this set, if you will, knowing that you cannot connect it to what comes afterwards. Now, if you remember in one of the previous videos, we discussed how, as students, you have two options. You can either learn the symbols, initial, middle, final, or you can just try to follow this logic, the three broad categories. And I mentioned that in some specific cases, the idea of the middle position is actually inaccurate. Let me show you how. Let's say we're looking at the letter meme, meme, producing the M sound, m. You will probably find on your list that this is the initial position, this is the middle position, and this is the final position. Now, with words like ramel, ra, m, l, you will see that meme here is looking like the initial position, not the middle position. Why? Because after a letter that doesn't connect, we have to start over. And so middle position in this particular example is reflected here inaccurately. Let's look at another example. Let's work with these three letters, ra, ain, and dal, and attach them to form the word rad, which is thunder. On your list, you probably have ain with three positions: initial, middle, and final. Correct? So let's connect these and see if this rule will serve us. Now, ra, we do not connect the ra to what comes after. We start over, a, and dal. In this particular case, the middle, ain, is not the middle form on your list. Perhaps the idea we need to walk out with is that Arabic letters connect to their environment, with the exception of 6 letters in category 3. They don't connect to what comes after them, which means we have to start over once we reach those letters. There's also another idea here we have to keep in mind, is that there is a subset of a few letters that change their shapes as they connect. This will allow us to always connect the letters correctly. I suggest we start by memorizing category 3 and stopping there for a moment and realizing that we can't connect them. The rest of the letters will always connect with those changes in shapes for that subset we called category 2. Same thing for dal and dal. We can connect dal to letters on the right. Once we reach the dal, we have to start over. We can't connect. Let's look at this word made of ba, dal, and ra. We start with the ba. We don't close. We continue. We write the dal. And we stop and we start with the ra. And that's our last letter. Now, let's imagine that we could connect the dal. We would have something like this. The problem here is that we violated the minimum critical part of the letter dal. It now looks like a ha, doesn't it? This could very easily be read bahr, badr, bahr. Badr is the full moon, bahr means the sea. And so we have significantly altered the shape of dal in a way that made it look like ha. This is the reason why we are not connecting that. Similarly, this is the word budur, which is seeds. if we make the mistake of connecting that, it will look like a kha, and it would be bukhur, which is incense. Finally, the alif connects. But you cannot connect the alif to anything here because that would look like the lam. So we have to stop connecting the alif. It stops right here. It can stand alone. It can connect to what's before it, but it doesn't connect to what comes after it. Here's an example. Fa'l, fa-l. So we stop and we start over. I hope that by now you have a general sense of how Arabic letters connect. In the next video, we will be practicing a little bit. Generally speaking, you should just remember that most letters in the Arabic alphabet connect both ways. There are two slight exceptions. The one exception, which is category 2, refers to letters that do connect both ways, but change their shapes ever so slightly. Category 3 are made up of letters that do not connect to what comes after them, because connecting them simply changes their shape in significant ways and might lead us to confuse them with other letters in the alphabet. Thank you so much for your attention. Please don't forget to share these videos and share your free ebook, The Letters and Sounds of Arabic. And I'll see you next time.